Hi, church family. I was walking this morning, and as I was walking along the road, I was struck by the beauty of these incredible flowers just blossoming on the side of the road. They weren't planted on purpose. They didn't have anybody tending them, that was obvious. Yet, besides the road, pollution, chaos of a road, they were blossoming. And I felt the Lord drop a word into my heart that I want to share with you today, and that is, bloom where you're planted. Now, blooming indicates spring, it indicates thriving, it indicates a new season, a new beginning. And I don't know about you, but how many of you can look at a flower, not sniff it, smile, or just enjoy the fact that God created this incredible thing that is beautiful? And so, as the Lord dropped this thought into my heart, I mulled over it as I was walking. And as I was walking, I was thinking, Leanne, you planted some seeds to make this ground outside the house where we live, also on the side of the road. I planted some sunflower seeds in the hope that I could make this little area pretty. And yet those seeds had great promise, and they grew, but I started noticing that the stems were rather long and spindly. And then one day I drove past and I thought someone had killed them all, but actually they'd given up, the soil wasn't deep enough, and they had just died. And I thought to myself, okay, so biologist in me knows these things, but I was reminded again that in order for seeds to truly find their full potential and to grow, the soil has to be a little bit deep. There's got to be a little bit of soil there that they can anchor their roots in. And so we need to stay in the Word. We need to make sure that if we are going to bloom where we're planted, if that's a word for us to encourage us as we enter into 2022, we need to make sure that the soil in our lives is richer. And I really believe that that is a way that we can, that we should be reading the Word, that we should be settling in with quiet times of just contemplation with God, of where, how, and what He has for us for this new year. And Brett mentioned to me, yes, sometimes those little roots need to be determined and push past little obstacles to make sure that they can anchor that flower. They can anchor the blossom. They can anchor that plant so that it can truly blossom. And then when those roots are secure and long, and the stem is healthy, and that plant is ready, it produces beautiful blossoms. It blooms. And those flowers open. And they open in anticipation of butterflies or bees or whatever is going to pollinate them. And they could be moths, they could be birds, but they open in anticipation because they know once those pollinators come, they will produce seeds, and those seeds start a whole new generation. There's hope and a future in those seeds. And so this year, I want to encourage us, bloom where you're planted. Have a blooming good year, guys, but bloom where you're planted. How can you thrive? How can you truly grow this year? And I think the first thing is be contemplative with God. Spend time in His Word. Pray. Make sure your soil is rich. And then, like a flower, be open with anticipation of what God has for you this year, this 2022. How can you make someone smile like a flower just lifts someone's heart? How can you make somebody's day? How can you ensure a new generation comes out of your life? What can you do that will encourage someone to live their lives for God? How can you do something or sow into someone's life that they will make a decision because of you blooming that they want to follow Jesus? And so I want to read to you John 15. It says, I'm the vine, you are the branches. When you're joined with me and I with you, the relation intimate and organic, the harvest is sure to be abundant. So when you anchor into God and you put your roots into Him, there will be blossoms. You will bloom. Have a blooming good year, remember? Separated, you can't produce a thing. Anyone who separates from me is dead wood. Those poor old sunflowers, kaput, dead. Gathered up and thrown on the bonfire. But if you make yourselves at home with me in 2022, and my words are at home with you, you can be sure that whatever you ask, your prayer will be listened to and acted upon. This is how my Father shows who he is. And when you produce grapes or blooms or blossoms and seeds, when you mature, you truly are my disciples. So, Vineyard family, let's have a blooming good year.